Thanks very much. I've been to a few Kiwi functions over the years. It's always black and white, right? So you know where you are. There's no mistaking where you are when you're at one of these events. And look, can I just acknowledge Gary Fiston, Gary, you and the board for giving me the opportunity. I think it's a really big deal. Even I get emotional about this, right? Because I watch the boys and the men who run around in the top league, and at the end of the day, they're only there because of what grassroots footy does. And we've had, those of you who followed some of the things we've announced in the last little while, we've been having long discussions with our NRL clubs, and I described at the announcement of our last broadcast deal that the NRL clubs are but the flower that results from when you water the roots. And so it is with grassroots footy. And in our new broadcast deal, we've made a very firm decision that we're going to petition off a very significant amount of money every year for the 5 years from 18 to 22 to feed grassroots footy. And we see New Zealand football as part of grassroots footy in the NRL, which is why we have such a wonderful relationship and great respect for New Zealand Rugby League and for what you guys are doing and what you've achieved. Which, of course, goes to the first slide, number one in the world, the introduction. It's wonderful. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. But we're coming to get you. Okay, so we've again, it's really intriguing at the moment, actually, because we've got the three top sides in the world. And Steve's done a wonderful job, Steve. Congratulations to the Kiwi team. And we've seen it coming for a while, really, and you know that too. You know, if I go back for the sort of 5 years I've been knocking around the game at this level, I've watched the Kiwis every year reduce the gap between themselves and the Kangaroos. And, of course, you then went past the Kangaroos and have started to build a gap outside that. So we've decided we've got to get our act together. We've appointed probably the most ever, well, certainly the most successful ever State of Origin coach, Mal Meninga, into lead the program that we're putting in place. We've got Steve Coney, who's coached very successfully the Kiwis, who reports to Wayne Bennett at the Broncos. We've got Mal Meninga, who was coached by Wayne Bennett when he was growing up, and we've got Wayne Bennett just going to coach England. I think this is really intriguing. So it really bodes exceptionally well for our four nations at the end of the year, but we're all building to the World Cup in 2017, and the World Cup's going to be sensational. We're very, very fortunate to be in England for the 2013 World Cup, and this is going to be a magnificent, magnificent event. And the build-up that we will help to help your team here in New Zealand and what we'll do in Australia will again put rugby league further on the map, and that's where exactly it deserves to be. And I've just gone straight away from the speech because all of that was really just the stuff that I thought about when I was sitting down amongst you. I guess the other thing I've got to acknowledge is the Ferns. You know, one of the greatest things that we've been able to do in the role of the Commission is to elevate the Jillaroos and put the Jillaroos on the main stage. And of course, you guys, together with England, I guess, but you guys dominate the stage for women's rugby league in the world. And we're really looking forward to the 3-test series over the Nines weekend. And we're a bit like while we still hold the World Cup, we're a bit wounded after last year's Nines, and it'll be very interesting to see how the comp goes in those three games. And it is absolutely true that having the Jillaroos and the Kiwi Ferns perform on the big stage last year has made the Nines a really much more attractive event for a whole bunch of people, and that's all part of the plan. So it's wonderful. It'll be a wonderful, wonderful set of games, and of course, at the same time, we get to showcase 16 NRL sides, and that's a very important thing. It's a kick-off for the season. You all, if you're reading any of the media, know that we've dealt with some stuff we don't want to deal with, but that's the way that it is. I just want to make a couple of clear points about that, I guess. We put an enormous amount of time as a commission, and the New Zealand Rugby League does, I know, also into the programs that help our young men and young women come through and be able to cope with the demands that are put on them. It is a very, at the elite level of football today, it's a hugely microscopic environment. Our players are watched, and they are toyed with, and they are tempted everywhere they go, and we put an enormous amount of time into making sure that they're in the best possible position they can be to be able to cope with that. But at the end of the day, there's expectations, and when actions are taken that step outside those expectations, then the role of the administrators of the game is to mete out the consequences. And so while it's a very difficult situation, that's our role. Our role is to help, our role is to guide, our role is to put stakes in the ground, and our role is to deal out consequences when in fact those actions take people outside that frame. But it's very easy because of that to sort of throw the whole game away, and we should never allow anyone to do that. And it is very interesting when I listen to the commentary of a lot of you who've spoken today, and I must acknowledge the award winners, and I think some of the things you've said have been, again, really earthy for me. But it's very easy to have this game marginalised because the players in our game and the people in our game come from, in a lot of cases, very, very poor and difficult backgrounds. And we as a game are responsible more than any other sporting code on this earth for giving people who wouldn't have a chance otherwise the best chance that they possibly can be, and we should never lose sight of that, and we should not let people from other sporting codes or people outside the games or people who don't know sport misunderstand what rugby league does for players in our game. It's a very important thing for us to all to remember.